on the episode of Cops, originally airing October 3rd, 2007. Delinda Slater can be seen answering a knock on her front door, wearing shorts, a snug yellow tank top, and holding a pair of scissors. She'd been cutting up John's underwear. This because of a fight they'd had earlier, one that turned out to be worse than any of their previous Ali Frazier blowouts. The kind of epic bout that gets talked about for years after. There'd been escalation all week. She sensed something was coming. Something ugly and final. The day had gone from bad to worse to truly fucked. Yelling, threats, taunts, some shoving, an errant punch or two. What was the fight about? She later couldn't even remember. It started over nothing, some shit little thing, and grew from there like a tornado that gets bigger and bigger. The heat and the weather didn't help either. Just TNT on top of everything else. Dell's mother was out back with Savannah, Dell's 8-year-old ADD daughter. I don't believe in that ADD crap, John once ventured. I didn't have that when I was a kid. To beat the heat. Her mother turned on the hose and kept trying to coax the girl toward the spray to cool down. But Savannah didn't want any part of that. One of those particular kids who only eats certain foods and wears certain clothes. Dell's mother warned, "I got the cordless out here. I'm calling 911 if it doesn't stop." It didn't stop. "Call the cops, see if I care," said John, who'd never warmed to Tina and vice versa. He'd been living there almost a year, supposedly temporary. Dell freaked. He shut the door on the cops. And this was not good. There were two of them, a lady cop and a man cop, and they got really pissed as she shut the door. After she let them back in, she saw the camera and the guy holding it. The lady cop shouted, "Drop the weapon!" And Dell kept wondering, what weapon? What weapon? And then she realized the lady cop meant the scissors were the weapon, so she dropped them. And that was when they, both the lady cop and the man cop, tackled her, cuffed her, face down now, with hands pinned tightly behind her and temporarily unable to breathe. The carpet smelled like Cheetos and cat. She glanced up and there was her mother crying and her daughter standing there, statue-like, mouth open. And she thought, so this is what it's all come down to. This is the train wreck that is my life. This is the sorry mess love can bring. Or if not love, then the attempt at love, which is all the more dangerous when it's not the real thing, when it's an imposter. The cops dragged her to her feet, started walking her outside. Dell looked around as if she wouldn't be coming back. The house was a shitty one. There wasn't much to appreciate, but it was her house, nonetheless. And suddenly she was overcome by a wave of longing. The TV was still going. On the floor, she saw the scissors and the bits of John's BBDs strewn about like sad little wishes you know will never come true. She usually dated men who wore boxers. His socks would have been next. After that, she didn't know. She hadn't gotten that far. Outside, it was still hot. Hot as Satan's sauna, as one of her stepfathers used to say. The sun was going down, finally giving up, and the sky was a melting swirl of red and orange and purple. She loved the sky at this time of day, the bigness of it, especially during summer. when there's something different about the light, when the colors seem to linger longer, to suggest something better might be coming, even when you had no reason to think otherwise. The lady cop steered her toward the cop car. She had her hair pulled back. She was pretty. Dell wondered why she'd become a cop, being pretty and all. There was probably a story there. She wanted to ask her this very question, but the lady cop is the one asking the questions. What happened? Where was John? Why did you slam the door? Did you know that resisting arrest is an arrestable offense? Meanwhile, the man cop jogged down the street to look for John, who'd taken off on foot and didn't have his wallet or anything, so he couldn't have gotten far. Plus, he was barefoot. Maybe he was over at Frank Arroyo's, 2 houses down, drinking beer and watching satellite. Maybe he had walked over to the creek that no longer had any water. There weren't many places to go. It was a couple of miles into town and the Frog Pond and its classic rock jukebox. Neighbors gathered on the sidewalk. Whenever Dell breathed, her chest ached. She told herself to be calm. Was arrestable a word? Dell wondered. The lady cop asked more questions. Her name, had she been drinking today? Had she taken any drugs? What had happened here? Who was at fault? And the guy with the camera, he was there too, filming everything. Now, is this your husband that we're talking about? The lady cop wanted to know. No. Boyfriend, then? Dell looked at the camera guy. She couldn't see his face. Just the camera and the bright light attached to it. Yeah, I guess, said Dell. Boyfriend, sure. Though it's not like anything official. What do you mean? Just there's issues. It ain't all roses and champagne. Nothing ever is, said the lady cop. And Dell agreed, and for a brief moment they were in the same place in their heads, 2 women agreeing and nodding about how men can be. Did he hit you? The lady cop then asked. Dell thought about lying and saying it was all John. Wouldn't be the first time she lied to a cop. And why not fuck John up? She couldn't lie. Not this time. For whatever reason. It was mutual. Ma'am, let me tell you something and I want you to listen. Are you listening? Dell nodded. We get a call for a domestic, and we don't know what we're going to find. You go into people's lives, and you go in their houses, you never know what's going on behind them doors. Can you understand that? Yes, said Dell. Look, I don't know you from Boo. You could be Mrs. Hannibal Lecter for all I know. You could have a gun, you could have a knife. I need to protect myself, and I need to protect you. I'm going to arrest you tonight, ma'am. You are going to go to jail tonight. Dell was crying now. She didn't want her daughter to see her like this. That seemed like the most important thing right now. Jail was okay. Jail was fine. Just keep Savannah inside the house. Protect her daughter. If she could do just one good deed in her life, something that would be her ticket to heaven and redemption, it would be that. Protect her daughter from this, from everything, from the world and all that she couldn't control, which was plenty. Later, they arrested John down at the Frog Pond. His shirt was off. He went down fighting, yelling, I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to jail for nothing and nobody. I'm innocent. Motherfuckers, you can't prove a thing. That got filmed too. Everyone had to sign a release form saying it was okay to show them on TV when the episode aired. If they didn't sign, their faces would be blurred out. Dell's mother didn't sign, so she got blurred. And Savannah too, because she was a kid. John and Dell signed. Sent all the paperwork to the cops producer person in LA and told their friends. And waited. The phone was ringing. Dell almost let the machine get it, but then she thought it might be her friend Charlene, who owed her money. It's on, you guys are on. Shit, they just showed the preview, it's the one with you guys. John, he's put on some pounds, Dell. He should really wear a shirt. It wasn't her friend Charlene. It was her friend Stephanie, who did not owe her money. 3 months had passed since the night Dell cut up John's underwear. The night Dell thought was a signal for turning. The episode of Cops was on at last tonight while her mom and Savannah were out running errands and getting ice cream. John sat sprawled like a teenager on the couch watching something boring about the anniversary of an old baseball game. It was a big deal, apparently, to those who cared. Dell in and out of the living room, watching, not watching. Seeing the game and the crowd and the players in black and white, and thinking how different her life would be if she'd been living back then, before cops and computers and cell phones and everything else that made life more complicated, more sad somehow. But maybe it wouldn't have been any different, except for the clothes and haircuts. Men like John have been around since day one. Turn on the Fox, she told him. Stephanie says it's on, finally. I'll get the VCR going. John switched it over to Channel 6 while Dell popped in a blank tape. There was that commercial for the exercise contraption thing that after just 6 weeks created a brand new you. Dell couldn't help but crack a smile. That was her, the brand new Dell, after she got home from jail. 2 days in there before her mother could scrape the money together. And she fucking swore that the soap opera of Dell and John had ended. And now, he was still here. Got better after. Then a little worse. And back to a little better. He was working again, which helped. They went to Vegas. Savannah chipped a tooth. Dell's sister miscarried. And they eventually agreed to drop the charges against each other and call it good. It's kind of trippy, John said. Kinda, she agreed, sitting down on one of the chairs instead of next to him on the couch. Wait, shit. Oh, we need beers for this. John ran to the kitchen. And while he was gone, Dell considered the indentation on the couch where his body had been, his trace, his invisible weight. She thought about how for such a long time she liked to believe that she kept her heart locked inside a box, and then that there was a key that could open this box, and that also she had to be careful about who and could not have this key or keys. The different guys coming and going who'd been able to find the key, click something open inside of her, like so. Every time, always the last time. She wasn't that careful, apparently, John being the latest example. He had the key, and sometimes she didn't know why. She wasn't the smartest person in the world, but she wasn't that stupid either. John returned, replanted himself on the sofa, handed her one of the Coors Lights. You want to call anybody? He asked. He was staring straight ahead, stubble on his chin and jaw, his face red and blurry from the sun. How many times could you be wrong about love? Nah, let's not, Dell said. I thought I would, but now it doesn't seem right. Let's just watch it. Then the cop song came on. Bad boys, bad boys. And she waited to see herself, to see what her life would look like there on the screen.
Andy Rowe.